It says, I had a 4-year-old ask. I can't even read this. I had a 4-year-old ask me, "Can I play with your butt?" Whoa. Okay, that's concerning.
Say what now? Sensei, say what now? Sensei, say what now?
Hey guys, welcome back to Sensei. Say what now? And today I am not going to be reading one story per se, but it's from subreddit Teaching in Japan, and the title is Best Questions or Stories from Your Time Teaching. The title says it all. Funny stories work too. What were they? I hope this is okay. Okay, I don't need to read. I hope that I don't need to read that. Hey, I'm still learning. Okay. All right. So the first one is was teaching about the negative form of verbs in a sentence to a mix of first, second, and third graders. As I'm going through the process, I get the point of the example questions where I ask something ridiculous. "Do you eat spiders?" I like this person. To which I expect the normal yes or no. And then we expand to "yes, I do" and "no, I don't," respectively. The whole class giggles and exclaims, "No, no, no!" Oh, yeah. I've done this before. Just say something ridiculous to kind of make it more entertaining. Um, I digress. Except this one girl who says yes, JTE. I think JTE is like from the JET program, and it's basically like an actual. It's an ALT company, so opposite of what I do. I'm an Eikaiwa teacher, so I imagine this is a JET program teacher. And I think the JTE is the main Japanese teacher. And so JTE and I assume she has mistaken the question and double checked the meaning with her. No, she totally gets it right. She then proceeds to explain how she accidentally caught some spider web in her mouth and thought it tasted good till she ate the whole web. Are you crazy? What? That's actually oh my god. No, because whenever I walk into a spider web, I'm like fighting the air, like insert that one meme where it's just like the cartoon where it's like a ball when two people are fighting and it's just a ball. You see arms and legs coming out of the cloud, of ball, whatever. That's me when I walk into a spider web. So the fact that she like was her brain, her first thought wasn't fight or flight. It was eat or spit out, and she decided to eat is kind of nuts. Wow. Okay. Cue a total breakdown of order from the rest of the group of kids in uproarious laughter, along with my JTE unable to keep a straight face. Personally, I just couldn't believe my fortune or misfortune that I got spider web eating girl on the not on the day where I choose that particular ridiculous question to highlight a grammar point. I also couldn't keep a straight face when I saw the silk eater. Silk eater is pretty funny. I saw the silk eater in question was confused as to why everyone was laughing. First graders are certainly interesting. Yeah, because that's actually really funny. I don't have, I'm trying to think, I don't have a student, I can't recall a student who has like eaten anything beyond, boogers. I had a kinder, which is maybe 5 years old, like digging for gold. He found a nugget and just ate it, but that's normal kid behavior. Friggin' spiderweb, girl, girl. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So this next one says, one of my special needs graduating students attempted a freestyle farewell message to me in English and ended up calling me a stripper. I don't quite know what word he meant to say, but we have to explain to him what a stripper means, and he apologized profusely. What a kid. I wish him well. That's actually really funny. That's funny. I've had a lot of, like, of course, a lot of occasions where people will mistake a word. I'm trying to remember something like recently that happened. Dang. My brain is kind of short circuiting right now. Um, I can't think of misusing a word, but recently a student of mine kept saying fuck. Like and he was saying it for a few weeks because I feel like the first 2 or 3 times he said it, I was being gaslit. Because we would play a game and he would lose, and he would be like, fuck, fuck. And I'm like, whoa, what did you say? And he would cock his head like, huh? And I'm like, huh? And so I just left it alone because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure he said it. So the next week, we play in a different game, and I get a point, and he's like, fuck. And I'm like, okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. No. I'm like, no, no. And he's like, huh? What? Uh-huh. And so I'm like, all right, leave it alone. Literally the next week, it happens again. But he says clear and slow. He was like, fuck. And I'm like, whoa, no, stop. Do not say that. Like, bad word, bad word. No. He's like, what? I don't know. This, mind you, this kid speaks like really good English for his age, and he's a no, yeah, maybe junior high school student, or I don't know, he's a fifth or sixth grader. So even though he is a fifth, sixth grader, he's very interested in studying English, and he understands a lot of English. So that's why I feel like I was being gaslit the first few weeks because he kept saying, "Huh? What? I don't understand." But then I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go tell your mom." He's like, "Huh? What? No." I'm like, "That's a curse word." What's curse word? What's curse word? And I'm like, a curse word is a bad word. I'm not about to give him an example of a curse word in Japanese because I don't even. I've learned a lot of bad words, but I don't think I remember them. But actually, I'm not even sure if kuso is a curse word or not because I've heard a lot of my kids say it, and whenever I've seen it like in Japanese shows or animes or whatever, it's either translated as shit or it's translated as darn. So I'm like, I really don't know if it's a curse word or not, and I wasn't gonna tell him, oh, it's like, cause it's not. And so he has his phone and he looks up curse word because as I'm walking to the door, I'm about to go tell his mom and like the Japanese staff to come explain to him why he cannot say the F word. He looks it up and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like, it's okay, just don't let it happen again. So it's the fact that like he claimed he didn't know, but I'm like, you said it once, and then you wouldn't say you pretended like you didn't know what else you was taking. You lose from in a sentence, and words are not coming out. This is not good because I got to go to work in like an hour, but words are not coming out. Luckily, I only teach kids today. Yep, actually, yeah, I only teach kids today, and it's a short day for me. So yay! I digress. That's like the most recent thing that I've had, like students saying a word that they should not have said, but it has nothing to do. Anyways, I digress. Moving on. Okay. There was one 10-year-old girl in one of my classes who was only there because her parents made her, and she had no interest in English. She just sat on her phone all class, and I never said anything because she wasn't bothering anyone else. And I don't really care if she pays attention at an ACIO class. This is low key me. Like I'm not about to make you care. Like it's actually have a few students like this. Luckily, I don't have them anymore. But when I first started working, I've had a lot of students who just did not want to be there, and they were little shits, and I took it to heart. But once I learned to stop being offended at them not wanting to be there and realized we have something in common because I don't want to be here either, and once I stopped caring, life just got better at this job. Anyways, the teacher before me would always tell her to put her phone away and try to force her to participate. See, that's what I'm not going to do. I will call on the student and be like, "Hey, can you say this?" And if they don't say this, I'm like, "Okay, moving on. Next kid." Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Nastasha Sensei does not get paid enough to force a student to do something they don't want to do. Like I don't. And even if I did, like I don't want to traumatize the kid to hate English, you know? And I know some teachers who have traumatized students to make them hate English. Like I know a teacher who has made a girl cry, albeit she was a stinker. She was a little asshat. But I don't think kids deserve to be, yelled at to the point of being cried or crying. Anyways, the teacher before me was teaching the class how to use the word because. She told that girl to put her phone away and make a sentence using because. The girl said, "Are you hungry?" Then point. Oh no! Come on, computer. Come on, computer. Okay, we're back. Why did I use that? Anyways, I digress. The girl said, "Are you hungry?" Then pointed to the teacher's stomach and said, "Because baby." Ooh. Honestly, me being a bigger person here, I'm not gonna like. It's not really a big insecurity, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh God, I know they know I'm fat. Luckily, I don't have any asshole students who call me fat, but I know teachers who the students have called them fat. I'm like, oh, ouch, ouch. Anyways, the teacher was not really fat, but was kind of chubby and had a noticeable stomach. She was so upset, crying after class. But when she told me, I couldn't help but laugh. That's, I'm not gonna say she deserved it, but let kids be. If they don't want to be here, you're not gonna like magically you forcing them to do something. They're just gonna keep losing respect for you. They already don't have respect for you. So honestly, like, damn, what a clapback. What a way to clap back in a second language. Moving on. Moving on. Had the high school class doing a group activity and saw that three boys sniggering.
I beg your pardon?
Ooh, I'm pretty sure it's called snickering, but those two double G's, it's giving something. It's giving something because this person literally wrote sniggering. What's a snigger? What's a snigger? Tell me. Explain. Come to the front of the class. What's a snigger? Okay, let me. Whew. Snicker. I'm had the high school class doing a group activity and saw the three bad boys. I'm snickering because that's pretty sure what they meant around one of their desks. Went over there and they had one of those talking dictionaries, which was just saying vagina repeatedly in an American accent. Well, I mean, yeah, for some reason, vagina and penis is funny to kids. Um, but that kind of reminds me of this wasn't an experience like at work. This was actually outside of work. After work, I should add. It was after work. I usually always wear my headphones because like I just want to be in my own world, going to and fro, and just listening to music, decompressing on my way to work. Nope, on my way home. I just got off the train, walking to the bus, and there's an escalator going from the station to the bus stop. And it was a group of, they looked like they were university students, like at least 19, 20, 21. Because at this age, I've noticed in Japan, it's the only time people get freedom. They have a freedom of expression. In grade school, uniforms, uh, work, uniforms. But university, freedom of expression, I've seen so many people like with hair color dyed their hair, wearing whatever, just expressing their. And it was like three young dudes who were, they looked like little jiggas. I ain't gonna lie. They were cosplaying hip hoppers. They were cosplaying. Well, they had skinny jeans, sagging. I hate sagging in general, but ugh, skinny jeans, sagging, just hip hop apparel. They look like if a rapper came to town, they would be first in line. Can you sign my CD? Head ass. But anyways, so I didn't have my headphones on, and it was just like I don't know, just my luck. They're coming up. It's Mike. They're coming up. I'm coming down, and I noticed as they're getting closer, they like turn around and start walking the opposite way to kind of like get in my vicinity. And so I kept hearing Niga, but it was like Niga. And my brain is not processing. It's not processing. Because I'm like, la 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 la, no music, but I'm still like minding my own business. And we're passing. I keep hearing Niga, Niga, Niga. And as I get to the bottom of the escalator, it makes sense. I was like, oh, are they saying nigga? But I'm like, huh? What just happened? And I'm like, they were I'm pretty sure they were trying to say nigga, but they were using Japanese phonetics ni ga, but they like niga ha 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 niga ha 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 ha, and I'm like, what? what is happening? What was this failed interaction? And I went into the I got on a bus like just mad confused. And I was upset cuz I'm like I was upset but not really. I guess I was just upset at the fact that I processed it too late. But then just like yeah, what was that? And that's like the only time that I've heard young bucks say or laughing at an American word or an American English word. I digress. Moving on. All right. This next one. During my first year as an ALT, I worked at a pretty rough school. After school one day, I was walking around campus visiting the various clubs. I saw a girl whose name I remembered, so I called out to her, and she turns to me, flips me the bird with both hands, and yells, "Fuck you!" Oh goodness, could you? I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. I'm like out of work, and like one of my students does that to me. Over the next 3 years, she became one of my best students, and we've kept in touch on and off over the years. Someone commented, "This sounds like the beginning of a movie, and I would love to hear." I cannot imagine, because I sometimes see my students at like the supermarket near my job, and at the mall near where I catch the bus home. And I've had students like come up to me. Again, I always wear my headphones for like 98% of the time, for the most part. And I had a student like grab my shoulder. She's like, "Nastasha," and I'm like, "Oh, girl, hey, what's up, girl? How you doing?" Anyways, yeah. So I've had that happen, and I've had like young kids just like, "Oh, Nastasha Sensei." Hi. I was like, "Hey, girl." But I just cannot imagine one of my students. Fuck you. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to react to that. Anyways, moving on. Um, wait, give me a second, guys. I can't find the next. Oh, is that it? Oh, okay. Nastasha, you gotta be more prepared. Gotta be more prepared. I think that was it. Yeah. Oh no, one more. A couple more. Couple more. All right, a couple more, and I think I'm gonna find like an actual story. All right. This next one says, "I worked in a very wealthy catchment. What is a catchment? Catchment area. What is a catchment area? What is a catchment area? Huh? In human geography, a catchment area is the area which a location, such as city, service, or institution, attracts a population that uses its services and economic opportunities." But why would they use that word to describe where they live? They could just say a city. Anyways, okay. "I live in a very wealthy catchment area, and some of the students had far more money than sense." Oh, shit. I wouldn't. I don't think I would like to teach students like that. One of my colleagues, he was especially popular with the little old ladies. When he suddenly left Japan because of a family emergency, one of the students was furious. So she stalked him all the way to Vancouver and showed up on his doorstep. Stuff like this happened a lot. Whoa, that's scary. That's scary. But not too uncommon. I haven't heard any stories about stalking recently. But when I first got here, one of the teachers in a different area I worked and lived in, she said that one of the students stalked her, and he would like wait out. He would always take her lessons, which is normal. Like you want students to keep taking your lessons, but he would just make her uncomfortable in the lessons, like asking her out, things like that. Just inappropriate stuff. So um, he eventually progressed to waiting at the end of the day for her and trying to walk her home, and she's like, "No, like this is scary, weird." And she told the management, and they were like, "Okay, we'll handle it." Nothing happened. He still showed up, still waited for her, and it got to the point where her boyfriend had to like walk her to and from work because this man was like not letting up. So the company I work for unfortunately cares more about money than the safety of their workers, which honestly COVID time showed was proof of that because I still had to go to work. They would not let us do online lessons. I still have to get on the train and go to work and teach people. Yeah, so I'm fortunate to have made money during COVID, but at the same time, I still work for a company who gives a rat's ass about my life. I digress. I have one last one, and it's just a sentence. It says, I had a 4 year old ask. I can't even read this. I had a 4 year old ask me, "Can I play with your butt?" Whoa. Okay, that's concerning. I've never had that happen, but I've had like 4 or 5 year olds try to slap my butt. And I'm like, can you not? Because if I slapped you, it'll be a problem. Not in the butt, because that's just weird. But if I just slapped a kid, I don't condone hitting children. But, anyways, I digress. Let's see. What do we have here? Okay, this next one is actually from subreddit. Uh, Residents, nope. Japan, I can't read. Oh my god. Japan resident. How am I a teacher? This is crazy. All right, this is subreddit Japan residents, basically people who live here. And it says, lived in Japan for a year and now I am constantly sick. Yeah, just based off the title alone, I've known a lot of people who came here and just their immune system has been compromised the entire time. Like, sheesh. Excuse me. So, I lived in Japan from March 2024 to March 2025. I felt sick a lot in Japan and even got COVID. Never had it before. I used to be really proud of my immunity because I rarely felt sick. While I lived in Japan, I just assumed that since it was a new country, my body just needed time to adjust and hence I was falling sick. Despite the fact that I had moved to other countries and lived there but never faced this problem. Now that I'm back in my home country, these past 5 months have been admitted I've been admitted twice and constantly falling sick. Sheesh. Has anyone else faced this? Is this common? I feel like my body has changed so much just living in Japan. Oh god, that really sucks. I hope OP is okay now, but I I imagine they were an English teacher. Yeah, I just imagined it because kids make people sick. And before, when I was in the states, my primary job was like a kindergarten teacher, and I was always sick. So I think that kind of helped my immunity because when I came here, I was fine adjusting. But someone commented, "Are you more stressed in Japan? Stress can weaken your immune system. Also, do you work with children? If so, all bets are off." Yeah, these kids are yucky, 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 yucky. They don't know how to cover their mouths. A lot of my like during cold and flu season, I'm actually teaching my children, cough inside your arm. They either just cough mouth open, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm like, ugh. And there's even times where I caught myself like doing, I guess reviewing the lesson to the parents, and they cough like near me, and I kind of joke back. And I look at the parent, and they look at me, and I'm like, "Well, teach your child." Well, of course I don't say this, but I'm like, "Yeah, I don't like being coughed on, but it happens here." Anyways, most people are saying it sounds like chronic stress. Long term stress can release higher levels of cortisol and weaken your immune system and increase depression. These are facts as someone who has lived that life and low key still living it. I'm not the best traveler, so I've been in situations kind of like this, but not necessarily sickness, but feeling of manic depression. I could be wrong to an extent, but stress can do crazy things. That is true. I hope OP is okay. I hope they're okay. All right, so I think I have time for one more. Yeah, I got time for one more, and this is teach back to teaching in Japan, and this story is titled "I'm tired, man. I just need to vent." Ooh, venting is good. It's good for the heart and soul. Being an ALT is honestly a learning curve. Wouldn't know I'm an AKO teacher. Being an AKO teacher is a learning curve too. They just throw you to the wolves. At least at my company, they just throw you to the wolves on day one. You're like, what am I doing? Anyways, I digress. When I first started, I had no teaching experience. I just followed whatever my JTEs were doing. Eventually, I found my footing, and before I knew it, all lessons for first, second, and third years became my responsibility. That still throws me off how they say like third year, fourth year, first year, fifth year instead of like grade. But anyways, sad to point. It's a sad to point. Here's where things went sideways. last year, I thought I was helping with English communication, so I assumed it was the same this year. I used the textbook at first until one JTE told me, "Don't use that textbook." Another said, "You don't have to use it." Okay, I thought, communication is my goal, anyways. I built lessons to give students a chance to actually use English. Halfway into the second semester, the JTE suddenly decided my lessons weren't effective because the real priority was preparing students for university entrance exams, which I kind of learned is like that's basically the goal. Basically the goal. Like the kids study so hard, and they not only do they have like regular school homework, but they go to like school on the weekends. I think it's called JUCO, which is cram school, just to take these university exams. And I learned, or I more so heard, that the hardest part is getting into university. But once you're into university, you pretty much can get any type of degree. And a lot of times, once people get their degrees, they end up, well, I guess this is true for everywhere. The next thing I'm going to say, they end up getting a job, something unrelated to their degree, which, again, me, for example, I got a bachelor's in human development and family studies. Um, and basically, it's if, but what is it? If social work and psychology came together and had a baby. That's pretty much my major or my degree. And I have been a teacher since then. Don't have any education experience, but I kind of weaseled my way into education as like a last minute thing. But yeah, so it's just the whole difference between American education and Japanese education. I feel like they're on two totally different extreme sides. So Japanese education is extreme in the sense of like they study so hard, they work so hard and study. Versus American education is just it lacks so much with the defunding and the teaching incorrect history and erasing history. Um, yeah, something that I often talk to with some of my higher level students just about the differences because it's actually surprising. I really think both countries could benefit from giving and like meeting in the middle. Like Americans, I feel like the education system needs to be more serious because the fact that I think the entire country's the average literacy rate is what, a middle school or something like that. Insane, insane. Which explains why you look at comments and people are just not understanding because they don't really understand context. They don't really understand how to read something and actually understand what's being read or said or whatever. But in Japan, it's the total opposite. Everyone is like they study. I've heard that they study to memorize to pass. So it's like a lot of times they're not actually learning and keeping it in there. But that's how I got through university. So this is no shade. This is how I got through school. My sense of studying was memorizing, passing the test, and forgetting everything. That's pretty much how everyone does it here. I Hey, don't shoot the messenger. It's just what I heard. It's what I heard from a lot of people. It's what I heard. Anyways, back to the story. Um, I wasn't in English communication at all. I was in charge of English logic and expressions. Damn. So they just didn't tell them. Lack of communication, ironically. No one had actually told me that from the start. And here come the contradictions. Textbook drama. First, I was told not to use it. Then later, why aren't you using the textbook? That would be frustrating. I would be so irritated. Next, vocabulary drama. Each unit had a big list of keywords. I made slides with all of them plus examples. No, that's too many. Oof. Jeez. So I cut it down to 5 essential words to talk about the unit. Preparing for a natural disaster, I guess, because he put it in quotes. 5 words for that: prepare, natural disaster, emergency bag, evacuation shelter, and emergency food. Damn. One of the teachers, the Japanese teacher said, no, wrong words. Instead, I was told to focus on charge, liquid, portable, flavor, compressed. What? That doesn't make any sense. Like, how does flavor help students talk about natural disasters? See, again, this kind of goes back into like their This, I don't even think I tapped into this yet, but a lot of times English teachers, at least ALTs, are just props. They're just foreign props. Like, oh, look at the shiny foreigner. Haha, yeah. But they're not actually there to help or serve. Their main purpose is to just exist in the form of a foreigner speaking English. So yeah, that kind of sucks. That really sucks. But at least if you have like a passion of teaching, passion for teaching. Um, yeah, those words don't help at all. Next is database drama. Database drama. Let me go back. Okay. Next, database drama. Then JTE says, you should check the database to see if the words overlap with the textbook. Me? What database? JTE. Oh, sorry. We should have shown you earlier. Here's it. Here. It's another textbook. Oh, God. I'd be ready to pull my hair out. So, not only did I get told opposite instructions, but every solution came with more moving goalposts. The kicker, every single time I asked beforehand, is this okay? Should I change anything? I was told, no, this is perfect. Then later I hear, actually, your lessons aren't effective. Damn. I'm honestly tired. I came in wanting to make English something students could actually use, but the system seems set up for drills for entrance exams. Yeah, that's right. It's exhausting and feels pointless sometimes. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry, OP. So, comments. Sounds like your JTEs are not communicating with each other. They are not teaching a class with each other, only with you. So, as you know, they will have their own styles and ideas about what and how things should be done. Yeah, that. Yikes. If you are the one having to make materials, then my only advice is to do it in advance, at least a month before. Put them in your shared database at school and tell them to make any changes by a set date. I've come to expect teachers to use my materials to A, accept them as is, or B, design and make changes themselves to how they want it, or C, keep their thoughts to themselves. It's amazing how no one wants to do B, so they end up doing C. Yeah, this sounds tough, honestly, not gonna lie. This sounds tough. Someone says, I'm not an LT, but after years in Japan, I feel your frustration and guarantee that it's not just a teaching industry problem. Every work I experienced here, I saw some poor communication and micromanaging from Japanese people. My conclusion is that they are simply bad instructors in any shape. Damn. They simply don't know how to explain things. Well, it is difficult trying to explain something. And well, they said they haven't been an English teacher. Maybe they mean they don't know how to explain it in Japanese as well. Because I was just gonna say that English is a second language for them, and I've had a difficult time understanding what some of my Japanese staff are trying to tell me. And it's like we only have a few minutes between lessons, and for them sometimes to tell me something important or ask me to give them something important, and I'm like, what you're asking? I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know. Or they don't know what I'm saying. So that in itself is frustrating. But if they're saying what I think they're saying, like just generally speaking, they don't know how to do that, that's tough. And then someone commented, perhaps because in Japanese, successful communication is largely the responsibility of the listener, not the speaker. And someone else responded, if their job is to train slash instruct English speakers, it might be a good idea to familiarize themselves with how communication works in that language. Critical, I would have thought. To kind of they got a good point with that. I've heard a lot of English teachers who are Japanese. Most English teachers who are the most English teachers in real schools are Japanese. They have not been out the country. They have not studied abroad. They have no real experience with English outside of what they've learned in school. So I think that's one of like the bigger problems. And I'm gonna get an actual ALT on here one of these days. One of these days. But yeah, I think that's one of like the bigger issue is that they don't have actual English experience. They just regurgitate what they've been taught to teach. And as a English speaker or first language English speaker, that has to be frustrating. Like this OP. I hope it's gotten better for them. But I think, anyways, yeah, I don't know. As an Eikaiwa teacher, completely different. The only miscommunication is what I said earlier. Oh no, This mic is actually really good. Oh, okay, don't do that again. Anyways, that was the last story today because I have to go to work and fingers crossed, it's a good day. It's going to be a good day. I'm claiming it's going to be a good day. I'm only teaching 4 lessons today because I cut my last lesson so I can leave early and go to the gym and I can get home early. Even though my lessons are only 40 minutes, those 40 minutes count. They feel good when you don't have to be at awake. I do know that much. But anyways, thanks guys for watching episode 2 of Sensei. Say what now? Please like, share, and subscribe. I don't think I mentioned that before, but yes. Onegaishimasu. Ja, mata ne.
What now?